today we are going to be talking about solving linear systems. I do apologize in advance. I am feeling a little nasally. I think I'm dealing with some allergies, so I might not sound the best. But yeah. Alright, we'll start with the joke of the day. Why did the Dalmatian go to the eye doctor? So make sure you guys are staying tuned for that answer. Okay, so when we're thinking about a system of equations, so a system of equations talks about two or more equations. That's what a system means. So there's three ways that we can solve a system of equations, and one of the ways is graphing, one of the ways is substitution, and one of the ways is elimination. And so there's different reasons why you might use like one or the other. Okay, so let's start with graphing. So what you're going to do with graphing is, this is the example it gives us. So first, we're going to graph both of the lines and find the point where they intersect. So luckily, these lines are already in y equals mx plus b form. So I know, right, that the b is my y-intercept. And my m is my slope. So then for the b, I'm going to go ahead and go down -1. Because the y-intercept again crosses the y-axis. So we'll go down here at -1, and then we're going to rise 3 and run 1. Rise 3 and run 1, and then we'll go down 3 and over 1. And so then we're going to go ahead and connect those points to form a line. Okay, and then now for the second line, we're going to start here. The y-intercept is 4, so we'll start at 4. And then the slope is -2 over 1. Since it's negative, I'm going to go down and to the right. So down 2 and to the right 1. Down 2 and to the right 1. Down 2 and to the right 1. And down 2 and to the right 1. And then I can go ahead and connect my points as well. And then I will see here where they intersect. So they're going to intersect here. At this point, if we go over 1 and up 2. So +1, 2. Okay, so that would be our solution. So some special cases in this scenario is when there's parallel lines, that means there's no solution. And if it's the same line, that means it's all real solutions. Okay, so let's look at an example of substitution. So substitution is when we substitute one equation into the other. So the first step that we need to do is solve one of the equations for a variable, and then substitute the expression into the other equation and solve. Then we're going to use that value to solve for the other variable. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the x plus y is equal to 4, and I'm just going to solve for y. So I'm going to subtract x on each side, and we'll have y is equal to -x plus 4. And you could also, in this scenario, you could subtract the y, and you would get the same answer. Okay, so now I'm going to plug in the equation I have for y into the value of y. So we have y is equal to -x plus 4. And so we're going to now plug that in. So I'll have 2x minus 5. And then we're going to plug in the -x plus 4. Because remember, we said that y was equal to -x plus 4. So that means we can substitute it in to help us solve for x. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to solve for x. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute the -5 to the -x, and then the -5 to the +4. And I'll have positive 5x, because the negative times the negative is a positive, and then -5 times 4 is -20. So then 2x plus 5x is 7x. Minus 20 is equal to 8. So now we'll go ahead and add 20 on both sides. And while this will cancel out, we're left with 7x is equal to 8 plus 20 is 28. And then we're going to divide by 7 on both sides, and we'll have x is equal to 4. And so now that we have this value, we can go ahead and plug that in to one of the original equations to solve for y. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to plug it into the first equation. So I'll have y is equal to negative x, so negative, and then I'll plug in the 4 plus 4. And so I'll have y is equal to negative 4 plus 4 is 0. And so now I could plug this in. So then my answer would be 4, 0. I would write it as an ordered pair. And so now I can plug this in to the second equation to double check my answer. So if I wanted to plug it in, I'm just going to write it over here for room. So you'd have 2 times x, which we said was 4, minus 5 times 0, which is equal to 8. So 2 times 4 is 8. Negative 5 times 0 is 0. 8 minus 0 is 8, which is equal to 8. So therefore we can verify our solution is true. Okay? So some special cases in this scenario is when variables cancel out. When variables cancel out, you're going to want to use elimination like right away. That's just like, if variables are canceling, that's a sign to use elimination instead of substitution. And then if the equations are equal, that means it's all real solutions. And if the equations are not equal, that means there's no solution. Okay, let's move on to the next example. Elimination is the next method. So the first thing you want to do is arrange the equations so the variables line up. In this scenario, our variables are already lined up. I'm just going to rewrite the equations down here. 3x minus 2y is equal to 10. And then we have x minus y is equal to 3. So then we want to multiply one or both equations so that a variable will cancel out. In order for it to cancel out, it needs to have the opposite. So for example, if I had negative 8, the opposite would be positive 8. Okay? So in this case, I can choose like the x or the y. Both would be like easy to manipulate since the coefficients in front of this x is 1 and this is negative 1 as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the y. So what I will do is I'm going to multiply the whole equation by negative 2. So even the 3 over here, I need to multiply by negative 2. So then I'll have negative 2x plus 2y is equal to negative 6. And so you can see here, I multiply the negative 2 times the 1x times the negative 1y, and I also multiplied it by the 3. Okay, excuse me. So now we're going to bring that other equation down. The 3x minus 2y is equal to 10. And now I'm going to go ahead and add. So negative 2x plus 3x is 1x, positive 1x, or you could just write it as x. The 2y's cancels out, right? Because 2y minus 2y is just 0. And then negative 6 plus 10 is going to be a positive 4. And so therefore we know x is equal to 4. So now that I know x is equal to 4, I can plug it back into one of the original equations to find the y. So if that makes sense, we eliminated the variable to solve for an equation, or to solve for a variable. That's why it's called elimination. So let's plug back in another value. It's see. It's kind of hard to see, so let me do a different color. Okay, so I'll go ahead and plug it into that second equation. So 4 minus y is equal to 3. So then we're just going to subtract 4 on both sides. This cancels out. And I'm left with negative y is equal to 3 minus 4, which is negative 1. This is technically a negative 1, so I need to divide by negative 1 on both sides, which is going to give me y is equal to positive 1. And so my solution here would be 4, positive 1. And I can do the same thing as I did last time. I can check my solution by plugging it into the first equation. So we'll have 3 times x is 4 minus 2 times y is 1 is equal to 10. 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 1 is 2. We know that 12 minus 2 is 10, which is equal to 10. So we can verify that the solution is in fact correct and circle our answer. Alrighty, well, thank you guys for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed. Again, I do apologize about my nasaliness. Back to the joke of the day, though. Why did the Dalmatian go to the eye doctor? It was because he was seeing spots. Alrighty, well, thank you all for watching this video.